I totally underestimated what was involved. I thought, really, I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought it would be hard, but I did not have any idea really at the time. This was in 2009, so I didn't have any idea about the fitness, the equipment, and all the things I would need. So well, I'm a double amputee, so when I'm missing my right arm below at the hand, and then I'm missing my left leg below the knee. So when I do Ironman racing, it's just another added thing in the equation for me to deal with. Well, when my first Ironman, to be honest with you, I didn't know a lot, and I was so new at the sport. I had only been training probably, I guess, 6 months or less, and so I really had no idea, to be honest with you, what was involved. And just really the prospect of having to run a marathon after the bike is what's really mentally challenging. So, I made it off the bike and I ran, a good part of the marathon, but my body just quit cooperating, probably just because I wasn't fit enough or ready enough or didn't train enough or whatever it was. I quite bluntly, I wasn't ready. For me, it really did humble me because in some ways I was completely intimidated. I was afraid of the distances. I was afraid of swimming in large groups for large periods of time in the ocean. So I was afraid, and the distance overwhelmed me. So it definitely humbled me, and then I think that sort of evolved to a place where I became more of an athlete, and I was able to get past that. And then once I sort of got past that, and I got past that fear, and my body began to develop and my training began to develop, then I developed confidence. So I went from being totally afraid and then sort of being humbled maybe part way into it, and then now to where I think I would say right now I'm at a confidence building stage to where I'm really starting to get more and more confident each year. What I have to do first is, because it's held on by suction or vacuum, so I'll show you that in a minute. I put some alcohol in the back on here because it's just easier to slide this thing down with alcohol on it. So what I do is I get that on there just to roll this thing down against itself, because if you tried to roll rubber on rubber, I would be sitting here for like 30 minutes trying to get this in a position, because when I don this thing, see, I step into it right here. So that's ready to go. That liner will come off. And so usually what I do is, this is the liner, kind of goes on your leg. It's two purposes. One is to protect you, but the other one is to create like a vacuum seal, so you're inside of your running leg, because if you have any moving around or pistoning, then you're going to start getting abrasions, and you're going to start having problems running. I just have a running leg and a biking leg, and then I have a couple of backup running legs that, just in case something goes wrong. But I put this thing over, and what I do with this is, and you'll see in a minute, but I tuck it inside the liner, and what it does is, if I sweat, it draws the sweat out over, and so that there's not a pool of sweat in here, and then it comes out through this pump on my leg, this electronic pump. So when I'm running, if you look carefully, like after I've really built up a
a good sweat, you'll see sweat like draining out the bottom of my leg. But the key is to be like, you got to be like at one with your leg. Otherwise, if there's any play in the leg, then you're gonna have problems. So it's not necessarily the leg itself, it's the fit. So I'm in there, and you see there's like a vacuum there. What I have is this little remote control. So when I turn it on, you'll hear my pump start to run, and you'll see this thing start suctioning air out, and so it's going to start creating a real tight vacuum, and this measures it. So like right now it's up to 13, 14, 15, and you can see it tightening even here. That's where the sweat comes out. Now it'll stop automatically. Now it stopped. Now when I'm running, if air starts to leak out, it'll automatically detect it and it'll pop on again. So like if I'm running and for whatever reason, because I'm moving around, air starts to leak out of this leg, and sweat will start, you'll see sweat start coming out this little hole right here, and it'll pump out when I'm on my run. So the rest is pretty much just like every other runner. Your hat, sunglasses.
When I'm training for a race, I train anywhere from 18 to 30 hours a week. A good portion of it is mental. So for me, it took a lot to get past the mental part. And as you point out, when you're running 19 miles or 20 miles, or you're going on a 100+ mile ride, a good part of that is physical, but at least half of it is also mental. So for me, it was about getting past the mental challenges, breaking that down into something that was manageable and that it can be done, and training to get yourself physically fit so that you can do it. But a lot of that is mental, and you just have to break through and continue to train and continue to increase your distances. And then when you do it a few times, you learn how to deal with that suffering, I guess you'd say, and do mental gymnastics with yourself to figure out how to get through it. It's about the training and getting to the race. I mean, the race happens, relatively speaking, I mean, the training takes forever. It's very challenging, and you don't want to get up early in the morning, and you don't want to go on these long rides. So that can be challenging spiritually, and trying to get at peace with yourself, and so that you can put yourself through this. And I don't think you could do that if you weren't in tune with where you were at spiritually. So for me, that's important. And so during my training, I try to have a spiritual life so that I can go through my week, manage my work, and do all of this training, because if not, it would be too overwhelming. And for the race, I mean, it just gets you through it. I mean, if you pray, the night before, it helps to calm you down, and you just sort of say, hey, whatever happens, you let God take over your race. Whatever happens, and you just sort of say, look, it's in your hands now. I'll race it, but I'll race with you, and just get me through the race, and it really helps.